and welcome. Tonight, President Bola Tinubu reaffirms directive to redeploy police escorts withdrawn from VIPs to conflict-prone areas. Senate orders investigation into alleged selective implementation of presidential directive on withdrawing police escorts for VIPs. House of Representatives in rowdy session after motion to invite CBN governor over government revenue remittances. And tourists from numerous countries may soon need to submit 5 years of social media history before entering the United States under a new proposal.
On business news, President Tinubu unveils new economic and security framework to unlock Nigeria's blue economy potential.
On sports news tonight, FC Robo Queens extend their perfect start to the new NWFL season with a 2-0 victory over Delta Queens.
And from the nation's capital, federal government arraigns former aviation minister Stella Odua on 5-count charge over alleged 5 billion naira fraud.
There is no going back on the withdrawal of police escorts from VIPs, and that's coming from President Bola Tinubu as he reiterates his directive that police officers currently assigned to VIPs be withdrawn and redeployed to conflict-prone areas. Speaking at the Federal Executive Council meeting, the president added that ministers and other senior government officials who feel they require additional protection should seek his approval for special security arrangements. In an effort to prevent potential conflict arising from the nation's livestock reform process, the president also directed the vice president to identify villages or grazing reserves that can be restored or converted into ranches and livestock settlement areas. Our State House correspondent, Larry Lasisi, has this report.
Ministers and other members of the Federal Executive Council gather for the week's meeting. The arrival of President Bola Tinubu signals the commencement of the meeting. Shortly afterwards, the president restated his directive on the withdrawal of police escort for VIPs.
If you have any problem of security because of the nature of your assignment, please contact the IGP and get my clearance. The Minister for Interior should liaise with IGP and the civil defense structure to replace those police officers who are on special security duties, so that you don't leave people exposed.
He emphasized the need to tackle the country's security challenges.
It should be effected. We face challenges here and there of kidnapping and terrorism. We need all the forces that we can utilize.
The president also touched on another pressing issue, that of ranching.
I think the Vice President should get the neck, first of all, to see which village or grazing reserves that can be salvaged or rehabilitated into ranches, livestock settlement. We must eliminate the possibility of conflict and turn the livestock reform into economically viable development. The opportunity is there. Let's utilize it.
The meeting continued for the next 2 hours, after which State House correspondents were briefed on the resolutions reached.
The DG of procurement actually told the president that about 2,000 contractors have been holding on him. And this, of course, I said, made the president very, very upset. Why we've had the Federal Revenue person saying we are getting more money and so on. So what could be the cause of this thing? So that's why he set up a multi-ministerial committee to look at the problem, to really find out what's the cause. He even said that as a sovereign country, we can go and borrow to pay those contractors.
Structural upgrade to 9 airports across the country was also approved by Council. This aimed at boosting passenger safety and convenience. From the presidential villa, Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the Senate has directed its Committee on Police Affairs to investigate the alleged selective enforcement of the presidential order withdrawing police escorts from VIPs. And this follows complaints that lawmakers were being targeted while other influential individuals continued to enjoy full security coverage. But this resolution comes after Senator Abdul Ningi of Bauchi Central raised a point of order under Order 9 during plenary, expressing concern that his sole police orderly had been withdrawn. Our National Assembly correspondent Gloria Umezuke reports.
The upper chamber steadily fills up as lawmakers reconvene on the second day of plenary. One lawmaker quickly raises alarm over the president's police withdrawal directive and what appears to be a selective enforcement of it.
This is unheard of in any democracy. I saw 2 convoys of ministers, and they were carrying lots of security personnel. I have also seen business concern, Chinese and other business concern. Yesterday, with the compliments of orderlies. Mr. President, I have also seen daughters and sons of political office holders having orderlies and having security covers. Mr. President, I have seen singers having orderlies. I cannot ever imagine that a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who has been here for a very long time, only one orderly, and he is withdrawn, and nothing will happen. Like I said earlier, Mr. President, I have no problem, but let it be done across the board.
Since the enforcement of the directive in November, this is not the first time a lawmaker has expressed fears over the implication.
The chairman of the Police Affairs Committee should take up this matter, conduct a proper investigation, and let us know why is the directive of Mr. President being flouted. And I'm sure we have a listening president. He will listen to us, and by grace of God, he will exempt us from that order, which was given in good faith.
Right after plenary, 20 career ambassadors announced days ago appeared before the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs for screening.
What can be done to improve the situation in our foreign missions?
As the exercise commenced in earnest, questions began pouring in.
There are a lot of issues around the revenue that is generated by our foreign missions abroad that shows that most of this revenue are not remitted into the coffers of the government.
I believe that the Foreign Service is heavily underfunded. If the Foreign Service can get its appropriation, remittances denominated in the currencies in which they operate in, it will go a long way in solving the perennial problems of missions and the tendency for requests for interventions.
We wish you well and congratulations.
So far, 23 of the 34 career ambassadorial nominees have undergone screening in this current batch. Now, according to the Senate Committee, the remaining 14 career nominees are scheduled to face their screening on Thursday, marking the conclusion of the first phase of the exercise. In addition to the career diplomats, the committee also announced that the 14 non-career ambassadorial nominees will undergo screening on Thursday as well as part of the second batch of evaluations. From the National Assembly, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
Another Green Chamber, today's session descended into a chaotic one after a motion was introduced to summon the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria to explain the failure to remit identified government revenues and to present a concrete plan for the immediate payment of all outstanding funds into designated federal accounts. The motion followed allegations that the CBN had not remitted over 5 trillion naira into operating surplus and 11 trillion naira into government revenue. It was moved by Representative Bamidele Salam, who's the chairman of the Committee on Public Accounts, who also informed the House that the CBN governor had repeatedly ignored invitations from the committee. Our National Assembly correspondent Terry Ikumi reports.
Lawmakers in the Green Chamber convened for the second plenary session of the week after a feisty Tuesday closed-door session which prompted an abrupt adjournment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The House receives the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework and Fiscal Strategy Paper 2026 to 2028 via communication from the President in preparation for the 2026 budget. One of the listed motions is from the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee on the observations from the 2022 financial year report of the Auditor General of the Federation against the Central Bank.
Cumulatively, the committee has uncovered that the Central Bank of Nigeria is indebted to the federal government of Nigeria to the tune of over 11 trillion naira. The Central Bank of Nigeria has failed, refused, or neglected to honor the invitations or effect the required remittances as directed by the committee.
Mr. President should pay attention to this revelation from a committee that is a creation of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is the only committee that is mentioned in the Constitution.
The Speaker's decision to align with an amendment for an ad hoc committee to take over the investigation causes a stir.
We have agreed that the prayer of Orubugali should be sustained if the House accepts to constitute an ad hoc committee that will comprise of the chairman of the Committee on Public Accounts as the chair, and all finance-related committees can be members.
In as much as the committee has written severally to the agency and they have not been honoring, this time around is a resolution of the House for them to appear before the committee. So you don't have to populate the committee with other functions.
If this committee, as every other committees, if they had gone this far, I don't want us to frustrate them because of tomorrow, so that other committees may not bring this type of issue up again.
Please maintain orderliness now. Maintain orderliness. You will speak.
Order. Oh my God.
Throughout the session is sustained, with members showing clear agitation.
Please sit down. We cannot be acting as if we're in the market. Please. We are an honorable House.
The Speaker, visibly upset, calls out and issues warnings to some lawmakers for disorderly behavior.
Do you need to be shouting to get your way? It's not supposed to be so. Please let us stop this. Honorable Marcus said, I'm on you. If you don't stop this behavior, believe me sincerely, and Honorable Kabir Mepalas will take you to ethics. I do not want to set an example in this House, but you are trying to force me to. If we continue to behave or rule in this House, I swear to God, we will start doing what we need to do. Please.
Calm is eventually restored and a resolution is reached.
For the House to resolve to compel the CBN governor, to summon the CBN governor and relevant agencies involved to appear before Committee on Public Accounts unfailingly.
Those in support of this motion as amended say aye. Aye. Those against you say nay. The ayes have it.
Following the resolution of the House, the Central Bank Governor is expected to appear unfailingly before the House Committee on Public Accounts on Tuesday, the 16th of December. Meanwhile, the round session today was not unexpected, considering that lawmakers have repeatedly complained about the preponderance of ad hoc committees to carry out the responsibilities of standing committees. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, Tamina Turaki-led PDP presents certificate of return to the party's APT governorship candidate, Oluyede Oluwole. Please join us. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. President Bola Tinubu reaffirms directive to redeploy police escorts withdrawn from VIPs to conflict-prone areas. The Senate orders investigation into alleged selective implementation of presidential directive on withdrawing police escorts for VIPs. House of Representatives in rowdy session after a motion to invite CBN governor over government revenue remittances. And tourists from numerous countries may soon need to submit 5 years of social media history before entering the United States under a new proposal. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has dismissed rumors of a rift between him and state or federal lawmakers from the state, describing reports that he avoided a scheduled meeting with them as inaccurate. He explains that the meeting was to be convened by his predecessor and Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, together with some elders, and that on principle he could not act outside that arrangement. Governor Fubara made this clarification while commissioning the 28.4-kilometer Ahoda-Omoko road.
Barely 3 months after returning from a 6-month suspension, Rivers State's Governor Siminalayi Fubara is leading a delegation of top government officials to Ogba, Egbema, Ndoni local government area for the inauguration of the Awada-Omoko road. Present at the event are his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu, the secretary to the state's government, Dr. Benibo Anabraba, his chief of staff prior to the emergency rule, Edison Ehie, and several other leaders of the state. The 28.4-kilometer road, which extends from an already dualized corridor, is described as a major infrastructural asset expected to spur development across the area.
This project was awarded to Julius Berger in 2023 with a completion period of 18 months. Which was achieved in best qualities. We have enjoyed the very good support from this administration since they came into the office, even when faced with challenges of our augmentation on our ring road project, which was a result of global inflation.
Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen.
Addressing the crowd, Governor Fubara seizes the opportunity to dismiss speculations of a rift between him and lawmakers from Rivers State.
I personally do not have any disagreement or any anger anywhere with my members of the National Assembly, even that of the state here.
On a lighter note, Governor Fubara, who announced his defection from the PDP to the APC the previous day, stirs excitement among the crowd as he breaks into a playful remix of a popular Rivers political song, using the moment to rally support for President Bola Tinubu.
If you dey support Tinubu, no follow corner. You dey hear wetin I dey talk?
The project is thereafter commissioned by the governor, who is joined by his deputy and other state leaders. Having fulfilled what he described as his campaign promise to the people of Onelga, Governor Fubara assures residents that more developmental projects are on the way.
The governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party for Ekiti State, Mr. Oluyede Oluwole, has expressed optimism about winning the 2026 election as voters prepare to elect a new governor. He voiced his confidence during the official presentation of the party's certificate of return in the nation's capital, Abuja. Meanwhile, the PDP leadership under Tanimu Turaki has also challenged other groups claiming ownership of the party to present their own certificate of return for their respective candidates.
The business of the day is the official presentation of the certificate of return to PDP governorship candidate for Ekiti State. Mr. Oluwole Oloyede was declared winner of the November 8th PDP governorship primaries in the state after pulling 279 votes to beat his closest rival, Funsho Aye, who pulled 239 votes. The candidate calls on the contestants who are now in court to sheath their swords.
As we move toward the general election, I call upon all PDP members, supporters, and leaders to unite as one family. Let us put aside our differences and work together with hope and vigor. I also appeal to my respected co-aspirants who have taken matters to court. It is your right to do that, but I urge you to sheath your swords.
The occasion also presented opportunity for members of the Triarchy National Working Committee to allay the fears of members owing to recent developments within the party.
I think a strong statement has been made this afternoon. For those who are still in doubt as to where the authentic leadership of PDP is moving forward, you should not be in doubt again. This is PDP. This is where PDP is. And this is where PDP will continue to be. I therefore challenge anybody who say, and any group of people who say that they are leaders of PDP, let them present their gubernatorial candidate for Ekiti State. Let us see. Let us present INEC forms.
Some members of the PDP, including serving governors who recently defected from the party, had cited the leadership crisis and the uncertainty it throws up as reasons for their defection. However, the Triarchy National Working Committee is confident that the recognition of their governorship candidate for the 2026 election has laid such concerns to rest.
The party that advocates for them.
Let's head to the nation's capital, Abuja, now, where Millicent Walker is standing by to bring us more stories on the news at 10. Hello, Millicent.
Hi, Anne. Many thanks. We begin in the courtroom where the federal government has arraigned former Minister of Aviation, Senator Stella Odua, on a 5 billion naira fraud charge filed at the Federal Capital Territory High Court. Appearing before Justice Hamza Mwazu, Senator Odua faces a 5-count charge involving conspiracy and advance fee fraud. The charges were instituted by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi. According to the prosecution, one count alleges that Ms. Odua fraudulently obtained 2.4 billion naira from the Federal Ministry of Aviation through Broadwater's Resources, claiming the funds were payment for technical supervision. Investigators say the alleged offences date back to January 2014. Additional counts accuse her of receiving 1.6 billion naira and 839 million naira under similar false pretenses, act set to violate Section 8 of the Advance Fee Fraud Act. Senator Odua, who appeared in court alongside co-defendant Gloria Odita, pleaded not guilty to all charges. Justice Mwazu granted her bail on self-recognition, but ordered that she deposit her passport with the court and obtain permission before travelling outside the country. To aviation, United Nigeria Airline has commenced commercial flight operations to the Airline International Cargo Airport in Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State from Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport, Abuja. Speaking at the launch in the Federal Capital Territory, the chairman of United Nigeria Airline, Mr. Obiora Okonkwo, expressed satisfaction with the achievement, noting that the new route will significantly contribute to the economic development of the state. He also advised prospective passengers to book their flights early to avoid paying exorbitant fares. Our correspondent Kumbi Aboluwade has more.
United Nigeria Airline once again records another historic milestone as it launches its inaugural flight from the Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport, Abuja, to the Agro-Allied International Cargo Airport in Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State. This feat is being celebrated across all sectors as a delegation from the National Assembly, led by the Senate leader, Mr. Kweyemi Bamidele, former governors of Ekiti State, as well as heads of aviation agencies, joined the chairman of United Nigeria Airline to commemorate the day.
We are thankful to God who made all this possible. When United Nigeria were set up for this purpose, uniting people. So we are grateful to Ekiti people for trusting us and giving us opportunity to bring the word to them and take them to the outside world. And then with time, we're talking about going from Ekiti to other places like Port Harcourt. There's a high demand for that. We're here. We just want to go where people want us to go.
The Senate leader, as well as the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development, who is representing the minister, Mr. Festus Keyamo, speak on the benefits of the commercial air operations to the progress of the state.
You cannot talk of meaningful development without aviation. And for us, this is going to open up Ekiti.
Honestly, today is another milestone. And I want to assure Nigerians that more will be coming.
The day thereafter, proceed to the check-in counter to get their boarding pass. Before proceeding into the aircraft, some former governors of Ekiti State applauded the partnership forged by the airline and the state government.
We must commend Professor Obiora for taking a leap of faith and coming on board to do this in our state. We're delighted and happy that our governor has brought it to this commercial stage. Thank you.
It's time for boarding, and the passengers proceeding to the ARJ 145 with registration number 5NBWY. With all 46 passengers settled in, the aircraft makes its inaugural takeoff to Ekiti State with an estimated travel time of 40 minutes. This significant milestone marks a fresh chapter for air travel in Ekiti State, as it not only serves as an expansion of domestic air connectivity across Nigeria, but will avail a more convenient travel option for residents, among others. Kumbi Aboluade, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10, President Tinubu unveils new economic and security strategies to unlock Nigeria's blue economy potential. That's coming up on Business News. Please join us again. You're watching the news at 10, coming to you live from Abuja studios. The federal government has officially commenced the construction of Nigeria's first dual active ingredient insecticidal net manufacturing plant in Ogun State. The project, driven by the Presidential Initiative for Unlocking the Healthcare Value Chain, is a joint venture between Swiss-based Vestergaard SAR and Nigeria's Harvest Field Industries Limited. The groundbreaking of a major forward leap in local pharmaceutical production, a joint venture named SNG Health for the production of dual insecticide nets. Leaders of the joint venture, heads of government agencies and partners are witnessing the flag-off of the facility, which is expected to contribute significantly to the eradication of malaria in Nigeria and Africa. The facility is supported by the Presidential Initiative on Unlocking the Healthcare Value Chain.
What we have is the world's largest producer of bed nets, Vestergaard, a Danish and now Swiss-based company that's partnering with a local Nigerian company, Harvest Field, to manufacture about 10 million bed nets every year in Nigeria. As you know, Nigeria accounts for about 27% of the global burden for malaria, about 30% of the deaths, global death numbers for malaria, but we do not produce a single bed net.
The facility is a joint venture between the Swiss company Vestergaard
and the Nigerian firm Haversfield, which signals the beginning of operations expected to produce 10 million long-lasting insecticide nets annually, while creating over 600 jobs during both the construction and operational phases.
There is an important element here where we need to bring all the technology from Vietnam to Nigeria, and here we strongly supported by the Gates Foundation. We also have USDFC. USDFC will provide us with a loan of roughly $14 million to buy equipment, capex, machinery, and then on top of that we have MedAccess, which is used as a strong partner who will provide us with a volume guarantee, making sure that if suddenly there is less demand, they will come in and make sure that the joint venture has no financial issue.
This is the second pioneer venture that we are going to have in Nigeria. We also pioneered the manufacturing of agrochemicals that made us now to have the largest manufacturing facility to manufacture agrochemicals in Africa.
According to the firms, the facility represents more than $30 million in combined investment from the two firms, with additional financial commitments from other partners. Production is expected to begin in April 2026 with a coverage target of about 30% of Nigeria's mosquito demand. Divine Chidi has emerged winner of the maiden Love Bite annual national mathematics competition, clinching the 3 million naira grand prize along with a brand new laptop and several other awards. Well, speaking at the event held at the Love Bite corporate headquarters in Umurunubi, Anambra State, the Chief Executive Officer of Love Bite Foods and Beverages Limited, Mr. Innocent Nwosu, explains that the competition aims to provide a unique platform for pupils from various schools to showcase their mathematical reasoning, problem-solving abilities and creativity while engaging their peers nationwide.
The corporate headquarters of Love Bite Foods and Beverages Limited, Nobi, Anambra State, is the convergence point for the maiden edition of the Love Bite Annual National Mathematics Competition. CEO of Love Bite Foods and Beverages Limited, Innocent Nwosu, welcomes the young mathematicians, their teachers and guardians, as well as several educational and food regulatory bodies.
We continue to pray that any of the proceedings and the procedures that will make the winner to emerge will be fair, safe, transparent, and honest.
It is not the first time Love Bite is giving back to society. This time, however, attention is focused on encouraging mathematical reasoning, problem-solving skills, and creativity.
20 participants successfully, participated in the second round. And for the second round, we also reduced them to 10. The last set of people that made up, the 10th position also had people that scored the same mark, about 200 persons that scored the same mark. So we now said, let 12 of them move ahead to the finals. We are happy. You can see it's still ongoing, giving back to the society, giving confidence to our kids, all right, and showing appreciation, to all our brand consumers.
Competitors are drawn from 16 states.
It's not 50 over 50.
Divine Chidi from Mount Olive Schools, Anambra State, takes the top prize of 3 million naira and a laptop.
I was hoping God for the first position, and I embraced the first position. When they called my name, I felt so joyful and happy.
The sponsor of this program, Love Bite, I really appreciate them, and I pray that they will continue to go higher and higher, and God will continue to bless the company more and more as they continue to empower people in the society.
Prizes are also given to his math teacher and school. The second and third position winners go home with 2 million naira and 1 million naira each, laptops and recognition of their math teachers and schools. The competition was put together in the spirit of empowering the next generation of problem solvers in the field of mathematics. It will be an annual event to nurture and celebrate the brilliance of school children.
A happy time for the winners. Well, that's it from the nation's capital. It's back to Anne for more on the news at 10.
Thank you, Millicent. Lafarge Africa PLC, a building solutions company, has unveiled a new thematic campaign titled Beyond Buildings right here in Lagos. Well, the company says the initiative is designed to showcase its impact and its contributions to Nigeria's infrastructural development, as well as its introduction of product innovations focused on creating sustainable solutions for people and the planet.
The launch of this campaign can be described as a celebration of strength, innovation, history, and shared success, positioning Lafarge as the backbone of Nigeria's development since 1960. The event brings together stakeholders from the building and construction sector, as well as the media and entertainment industry, including the company's esteemed customers. The CEO of Lafarge Africa PLC, Lolualade Akiemi, in his address at the launch, underscores the management's resolve to make the right impact within the environment they operate, a position buttressed by the company's commercial director.
We've played a significant role, whether it's Cocoa House, whether it's the Lekki Koyi Bridge, whether it's the Third Mainland Bridge, and we're excited that we'll continue to contribute towards the development of Nigeria. What excites me is our area of our innovative solutions. We've contributed immensely to our dear nation's progress by providing essential building materials for numerous landmark projects.
It's a powerful reaffirmation of our legacy and a clear statement of our innovative vision for a more sustainable and prosperous Nigeria.
Lafarge Africa PLC will use this campaign as a demonstration of its commitment to sustainable development.
What they are campaigning for now and saying is that they are going beyond just buildings. So they are going to go into other products, right? And those products will be more eco-friendly.
The theme for this promotional drive signposts Lafarge's pledge to create the right awareness, looking into how the company has positively impacted Nigeria's growth.
The infrastructure, you see, is building economic powerhouses, building homes and families. For us, it's a pride to be part of this, and we are committed to continue to do this.
Our commitment to our customers is that we'll continue to provide solutions that will meet their needs, and launch products that are affordable and products that will, points of sustainability.
We present to you Beyond Building.
Lafarge Africa PLC says this campaign aligns with the global vision of its parent entity, which is focused on building the future.
We continue in the world of business. Dominic Iwewu is standing by.
Thank you, Anne. On business news, President Bola Tinubu has unveiled a new security and economic framework aimed at unlocking potentials in Nigeria's vast marine and aquatic resources under the blue economy. The president, who made the announcement through the vice president, Kashim Shettima, at an event in Abuja, highlights that Nigeria's marine endowments include rich fisheries, extensive inland waterways, and a strategic location within the Gulf of Guinea. He described the maritime industry as one of Nigeria's most critical sectors, which could diversify its revenue base, create sustainable employment, and revitalize ecosystems that sustain economic transformation. And now Nigeria's daily petrol consumption dropped to an average of 52.9 million litres per day in November 2025, marking a decline from the 56.74 million litres per day recorded in October 2025. This is according to the latest fact sheet released by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. The NMDPRA points out that despite the decline in demand, the total volume supplied during the month showed increased contributions from both local production and imports. And back home to the domestic stock market, which ended midweek trading session still in the red. Willie Bong tells us more.
Hello and welcome to the stock market report. The market has ended for the second consecutive day in the red. The all-share index fell down today, 0.04%. We see that figure at 146,888,000 points. And we see 17 billion naira lost from the market cap, sitting at 93.641 trillion naira. And most of the sectors that we track were in the red. Banking was down, consumer goods was down, oil and gas was down, banking sector, Access Holdings, investors still selling up on there, Nigerian breweries, UACN driving the negative trend there. And we see oil and gas, O&O doing its thing. But we're hoping that 2026 is going to be better because investors and companies are already forecasting, and one of it, Geregu, is forecasting a revenue of about 57 billion naira in the first quarter of 2026. Let's hope the market rebounds in December, that we can have that debt in December, and also a very profitable 2026. And those are the highlights for today. Will Ibong signing out.
Thank you, Will. We end business news with snapshots of global market closing figures for Wednesday. And that's it on business news. Back to Anne for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you very much, Dominic. Let's go outside our shores now and join Simon Puser with more international news and around the world in 5 from our London studio.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Tourists from dozens of countries, including the UK, could be asked to provide a 5-year social media history as a condition of entry to the United States, under a new proposal unveiled by American officials. The new condition would affect people from dozens of countries who are eligible to visit the US for 90 days without a visa, as long as they have filled out an electronic system for travel authorization form. Since returning to the White House in January, President Donald Trump has moved to toughen US borders more generally, citing national security as a key reason. Analysts say the new plan could pose an obstacle to potential visitors or harm their digital rights.
He's talking about a review, which implies a period of time. It's not clear how much of this is saber-rattling, right? There's things you can do with an executive order. There's things you can't do. There's probably litigation if they did try to do an executive order.
Ukraine is ready for elections, according to President Volodymyr Zelensky, after US President Donald Trump repeated claims Kyiv was using war to avoid them. Zelensky's 5-year term as president was due to end in May 2024, but elections have been suspended in Ukraine since martial law was declared after Russia's invasion. Speaking to reporters following Trump's comments in a wide-ranging interview, Zelensky said he would ask for proposals to be drawn up which could change the law. Zelensky said elections could be held in the next 60 to 90 days if security for the vote was guaranteed with the help of US and other allies. At least 22 people have been killed and a further 16 injured after 2 buildings collapsed in the Moroccan city of Fez. The 2 4-story residential buildings that came down contained 8 families, according to state media. Several Moroccan news outlets report that the buildings located in the southwesterly Al Mazira suburb of the city had shown signs of deterioration for several years. An investigation is now underway. Fez in northeastern Morocco is one of the nation's oldest cities, with parts dating back to the 8th century. Residents say rebel forces have entered the last government-held city in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo in an offensive that has forced thousands to flee across the border to Burundi. Heavy artillery and gunfire could be heard in Uvira, with terrified residents describing the situation as chaotic. The escalation in fighting comes despite the peace deal brokered by US President Donald Trump last week between Democratic Republic of Congo's President Felix Tshisekedi and Rwanda's Paul Kagame to end the long-running conflict. The M23 rebel group said it had liberated the city, while UN-backed Radio Okapi quoted residents as saying that rebel fighters were on the streets. A sperm donor who unknowingly harbored a genetic mutation that dramatically rises the risk of cancer has fathered at least 197 children across Europe, according to a major investigation. Some children have already died, and only a minority who inherit the mutation will escape cancer in their lifetimes. Denmark's European Sperm Bank, which sold the sperm, said families affected had their deepest sympathy and admitted the sperm was used to make too many babies in some countries.
I am here on behalf of my mother.
And the daughter of Maria Corina Machado, the winner of this year's Nobel Peace Prize, has said her mother is determined to live in a free Venezuela and would never give up on that purpose, as she accepted her mother's award. The Venezuelan opposition leader was safe and will travel to Oslo, the Nobel Institute said, but was unable to make the award ceremony. Her daughter, Ana Karina Souza, accepted the award on her mother's behalf. The Nobel Institute awarded Machado the prize for her struggle to achieve a just and peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy in Venezuela.
The world has marveled at what we have achieved. And soon it will witness one of the most moving sights of our time, our loved ones coming home. And I will stand again on the Simón Bolívar Bridge, where I once cried the thousands who were leaving, and welcome them back into the luminous life that awaits us. Because in the end, our journey towards freedom has always lived inside us. We are returning to ourselves. We are returning home.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. FC Robo Queens head coach Emmanuel Osanwo is excited with the team's 100% record in the Nigeria Women Football League Premiership after match day 3. Robo Queens defeated Delta Queens 2-0 to maintain top spot in Group B with 9 points from 3 matches. After a goalless first half, Rodiat Yusuf opened scoring in the 50th minute, while Tosin Rafiu sealed the win 8 minutes later. Meanwhile, match day 3 recorded 4 away victories. Remo Stars ladies won 2-0 at Confluence Queens. Nasarawa Masons also secured same scoreline away at Ahudi Yanem Queens, while Abia Angels were 2-0 winners over visiting Oshun Babes in Aba. In Group A, Adamawa Queens edged Ibom Angels 1-0. Ekiti Queens lost at home to Edo Queens 1-0, while Paysetters also suffered same fate, losing 2-1 to Rivers Angels. And participating states at the second edition of the Niger Delta Games have been mandated to present 270 athletes as part of its delegation. The motorsports regional competition is expected to hold in February next year in Benin City, Edo State. At a media briefing held in Lagos, co-chairman of the main organizing committee, Tiako Ipokbo, said the decision is to allow equal representation by the states. And Zambia coach Moses Sikone has named his final 28-man squad for the African Cup of Nations, confirming a blend of domestic talent and experienced internationals for the tournament in Morocco later this month. Sikone's selection includes several notable newcomers, with Matthews Banda and Given Kalusha earning their first senior call-ups. That's sports. It's back to you, Anne.
Thank you very much, Chris. And the main news again. President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his directive to redeploy police escorts withdrawn from VIPs to conflict-prone areas. The president, who was speaking at the presidential villa today, however, said that ministers and other senior government officials who feel exposed must seek his clearance for special security. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. Good night and stay safe.